had to do something terrible to stop something worse, how far would you go? Would you be willing to put a few lives in danger for the betterment of thousands of others? This is the idea touched upon by today's game, Resonance. Resonance is a 2D point-and-click adventure game developed by 12 Games and published by Wadjet Eye Games on June 19, 2012. It's available for $10 from a wide variety of sources, including Steam and Wadjet Eye, and runs on Windows and Mac. The game opens early one morning in Apatine City by introducing you to 4 characters: Ed, Anna, Ray, and Bennett. Ed is a mathematician currently employed at Juno Laboratories, a sly, slightly geeky man who sees the world in numbers. Anna is a doctor working at the city hospital who has recently been suffering from disturbing nightmares involving her as a little girl running away from a werewolf-like monster. Ray is your typical sleazy journalist who uses whatever tactics are necessary to get the scoop for his controversial stories. Finally, there's Bennett, a detective who is willing to put his life on the line and disobey orders to follow his cases. As these characters are going about their daily business, an explosion occurs at Juno Labs, causing a brief citywide blackout and fatally injuring Dr. Morales, the leader of the Resonance Project. Just before he dies, Dr. Morales mentions a secret vault that contains the dangerous project. It's up to the group of 4 to solve the mystery of Morales' murder and find the vault before it falls into the wrong hands. Resonance is a traditional point-and-click adventure game, meaning you'll be solving puzzles to advance the story. It does have a couple of interesting tricks up its sleeve. The game's main hook is that you'll be controlling all 4 of these characters by switching between them individually, which you can do at any time, even if they're not in the same room you're currently viewing. This makes solving puzzles much more challenging, as you have to mentally keep track of where your characters are and what items they're carrying at all times. The game does make this a bit easier by allowing you to speak to another character and ask them to follow your current character, but at times the system can still be a bit frustrating. However, many of the game's best puzzles require you to operate each of your characters in tandem, and when you finally crack them, the system makes them feel exponentially more rewarding than other adventure games. The game eases you into this slowly. You start the game off by playing each of the 4 characters in their own individual scenarios. This allows you to learn the game's interface as well as introduce you to each of the 4 characters. After the blackout occurs, you then play through a pivotal scene using 2 characters in tandem. From that point on, roughly 2 hours in, the game opens up, allowing you to control all 4 characters. Resonance's other unique feature is the memory system. There are 2 types of memories, short-term and long-term. Short-term memories are created by clicking and dragging an environmental object into the short-term memory folder in the left-hand corner of the screen. When speaking to a character, you can drag that memory to the slot in the dialogue window. Think of it like a additional dialogue option. For example, if you want to talk to a character about an object in another scene, you'll simply go to the scene, add the object to your short-term memory, talk to the character again, and drag it to the memory slot. This is often necessary to solve many of the game's dialogue-related puzzles. Long-term memories are similar, but are retrieved after significant events happen and are retained over the course of the game, rather than in brief scenes. The memory system forces you to pay even closer attention than you would in other adventure games, since you have to figure out what objects and events you'll need to solve the puzzles. This is something I don't think I've ever seen in an adventure game before, and I really like it. It's a fresh approach to the traditional dialogue trees in an adventure game, and I honestly would not be surprised if I see other games adapting this system. As Resonance was made with a retro-focused adventure game studio, the game runs in a low 640 by 480 resolution. Despite this, however, the game looks really good. The environments are detailed, realistic, and surprisingly colorful for such a serious-looking game. The interface has a slick and polished feel. I love the way it pops out smoothly like a drawer when you mouse over it, as well as its futuristic look and the subtle way it integrates tutorials into the game. I also love the rewind effect, which occurs when you make a fatal mistake. You'll see all the frames of the animation and actions you took as the screen slowly turns white. It's a really impressive feature, and it made messing up an invigorating, not dispiriting experience. The game even contains some really impressive full-motion video, which I honestly didn't expect for a game like this. The reduction values as a whole are so impressive that I almost forgot how pixelated everything looked. Some players may not be able to get past this, but Resonance probably isn't for them if that's what they're going to complain about. The amazing reduction value is also extended through audio work. While the game is a bit lacking in sound effects, which is a bit disappointing, the solid voice acting and music all make up for this. Mostly the music has a dark and edgy vibe, similar to what you'll find in thriller films. However, there's also some lighter, almost jazzy music interspersed with the game as well. I especially enjoyed the hospital theme, which I caught myself humming several times after playing the game. Where Resonance really and truly delivers is in its main plot. I don't want to give anything away, but there's an incredible plot twist at the end of the game's second act that absolutely floored me. I don't think I've ever seen such a surprising twist in any other game I've played to date. This twist is so shocking that it completely changes the story's dynamic. There aren't any real hints along the way either, so if you think you know where this is going, well, you have no idea. The conclusion is also terrific as well, giving you several ways to end the game and some really hard ethical choices to make. I found the conclusion to be both sobering and thought-provoking, and the perfect way to cap off an excellent ride. Resonance is also great that it has a perfect length. Long enough to feel you got your money's worth, it's short enough that it never overstays its welcome. The story is undeniably Resonance's its best feature, and honestly, I think it would even hold its own against a thriller film or novel. Downside to experiencing the game's excellent story, however, is a generally tough level of difficulty. This is not an adventure game for the novice player, and numerous puzzles of the game have me absolutely stumped as to what to do with them. I'll admit, I caved a few times and looked in a walkthrough in order to figure out what to do next. Hardcore fans of the genre are sure to find Wadjet Resonance to be a satisfying challenge to complete without a walkthrough. That said, there are a few puzzles, especially in the second half of the game, that require tremendous trial and error and sheer luck to complete, and even stalwart players will find these to be annoying. Overall, though, Resonance is one of the best adventure games I've ever played. It provides a truly thrilling and fast-paced storyline with enjoyable characters, solid graphics, and plenty of challenging puzzles. It's a clever game that's sure to have most players on the edge of their seat. Hop on board this roller coaster, as Resonance is one ride that you won't soon forget. I give Resonance an 8.5 out of 10.